Working fine.
Okay,
we're good.
let's do this. Welcome, everyone, to the latest in the silver screen commentaries. Dej, play the opening.
Enjoyed the theme song. So anyway, welcome to another episode of the Silver Screen Conference. I'm your host, Digimon11, and with me is Jova Hexion.
Hey, yo.
Afternoon Kitsy.
Hello.
Perfectly presentable Peachy Pedro.
Oh wow, I love how every time you say that it's different words.
And
yes, I'm here.
this guy who won't leave us alone, Tia.
Keep editing.
Hey, look. Tio came with the package, Tio. We're going to keep, feed, and nurture him properly.
Squeak. I don't
Which
know.
one of
Exactly.
you adopted him anyway?
You did.
You.
What?
Well, Teo, you said. Well, Teo, you yourself said. Well, here's the thing, Teo. The idea is that Shiro has to. She has already enough with cats and dogs. It's time for her to get used to rats as well. So she's gonna adopt you
Before
as
the
a
internet
rat.
starts,
There you go.
before the internet starts making actually persona art, Dej, what are we doing today?
Jova, Joe. Okay.
Allow me. Pokemon and Lucario and the Mystery of Mew.
Or if you're watching the Japanese version, Mew and the Wave user,
Actually, it's
Lucario.
Mew
Is that right?
and the
Dej?
Wave Hero, Lucario.
Wave Hero.
Oh yeah, Wave. Well, whatever. Whatever.
No,
Whatever.
anyway.
I only missed
So-
one
so-
of
the
those.
name Wave Hero.
So, in case this is your first time listening to the show, our goal is to watch every Pokemon movie and special that pleases us, and to rank them to see which are good, which are bad, which are just okay, because sometimes things are allowed to be okay,
Exactly.
and score them from ranging from 0 to 10.
This movie comes at the end of a trilogy of Pokemon movies that have been, I'll admit, better than I remembered them. 6 was actually a pretty good feature, 7 was a nice one to come back to, and here we come to 8, which by a lot of people is considered the best Pokemon movie. Period.
And it's the last Pokemon
It's my
movie
personal
that
favorite.
4Kids ever dubbed. So this is the last time you hear Veronica Taylor as Ash.
In fact,
It was a very, very good movie.
This movie
Yeah.
was very popular. It was one of 4 nominees for the American Anime Awards, Best Anime Feature Award, but it lost it to Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Oh, for
That
fuck's sake.
legit pisses me off because Advent Children is a terrible movie.
Look. I'm a Final Fantasy VII fan hard, but
So am I.
no, Advent Children, no.
Like,
Look, the Cloud and Sephiroth fight is awesome, but that's kind of the only thing worth remembering from
not
that
just
movie.
that, regardless of the single quality, for the purpose of the competition, competing that to this movie, I'm sorry, this one is infinitely better in all aspects.
Yeah. And we're here to talk about why today. So, shall we begin the plot
Pedro.
synopsis?
Pedro, take it away.
Yes. Yes. So we start. Surprisingly,
With
we have
Mike
the
Pollock,
usual.
yeah.
Oh, here's what Pokemon World is all about. A recap with Mike Pollock, of course. Surprisingly, not Brock, because Brock
fun
used to do it
fact,
in the earlier movies.
I don't know if
but,
we ever mentioned it, but nowadays it's
yeah.
Eric Stewart playing both Brock and James. It may have started in this movie, or
Interesting.
around this
No,
series,
no.
technically.
I think it started around Johto.
Did it? Well, I'll give Eric Stewart credit. He does a great
All right,
sound
then.
alike to the original voice of James that, honestly, I kind of only recently figured out because of researching this movie.
Oh well. Okay. Okay, so we start the proper story sometime long ago in
This
the
is nice,
medieval
actually,
ages of
seeing
the
some world
Pokemon
building with
universe.
Pokemon here. I
Um,
wonder if we'll have another look at Pokemon in the past in a weird ancient time.
Anyway, yes. This is what happens in this world is that there's actually a war going on where there's even two armies of Pokemon about to battle each other, and Lucario is basically scouting out what's happening, and he warns his master Aaron of what's going on. Aaron is near
Sorry,
Queen
Aaron, and
Lean, I
yes,
think that's her
it's
name.
a Queen Rin.
Rin, that's it. Lean is the descendant. Okay. Okay. So basically, Aaron decides to check out what's going on, see if he can do something. Eventually, he realizes something, and suddenly, when Lucario and Aaron reunite, something weird happens. For whatever reason, Aaron turns on Lucario and traps him in his
Sonic
magical
trap to Goku.
staff. And then, all while saying to Lucario that
And yes,
he
as Des
abandoned the
mentioned,
queen
Sir
and
Aaron
he's running
is voiced
away.
by Jason Griffith, who does a pretty great performance in this movie. Like, look,
Which
I know people tended to clown on Jason Griffith because he didn't have the best start as Sonic, but no, I think the man's overall a solid VA, honestly. He just needs proper time to get into a role, and it's...
My issue with him in this movie is that I get that they're trying to get a voice that fits the design. I just think like a bit of a deeper voice would have been better. The Japanese version is deeper. I feel like a deeper voice than Jason's. Not as Shadowrun. I feel like Eric Stewart would have been
Two things
Personally,
to
I'm fine with it. Also, his companion Lucario is played by Goku.
Yeah, Sean Schemmel. Yeah, which leads to two important things to note.
Sean Schemmel.
Yes, Lucario can actually speak, Unlike Meow, it's not a case where he actually can talk human language, but he communicates via telepathy by closing his eyes and, flopping his ears.
This is because he has the power of the aura.
Yes.
And second, it's important to note that this was a time before the invention of Pokeballs, meaning that what Lucario's master does by trapping his staff is a crude prototype of that, essentially.
Aw, you mean we can't trap monsters in magical staffs these days? Though incidentally, that staff reminds me a lot of the staffs that you see like shrine maidens in Japan use. They've even got the clippings that hang from the loops as well.
I'd like to remind the audience that this technically takes place in Kanto. So,
Really?
Pokemon Legends Kanto 1.
Yes.
Even though we have Hoenn Pokemon.
That kind of begs the question
Wait,
why
he
didn't Ash
did.
visit his mom while this was going on? But whatever.
Yeah, like that's the whole point of
Oh, did he?
Battlefront 2. He was just he went back to Kanto.
True, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
I was talking about in
he's
this
already
movie, but
past
sure,
Cerulean
that works.
City at that point.
Basically, though, the main setting of
Okay,
this
then.
movie is overall in the frontiers of Cameron Palace.
Okay, then. Okay, so continue. So while asking himself why would Aaron betray him and the queen, Lucario enters into kind of a deep sleep, and basically we skip ahead hundreds of years. And now we meet our usual protagonists, Ash and his posse. Theo, I know you want to talk
let's
about your
about
wonderful
this.
relationship with the
Almost
CGI
right
in this
And
movie.
mind you, just for the early scenes of a movie, I need to, because otherwise it's not utilized the rest. We get a return from the film that I criticized in the previous movies. Two minor scenes and later one a bit more extended one of CGI, character when it's supposed to be a distant shot, for example on this bridge, and the people are walking from left to right towards the castle. Again, just like in the Deoxys movie, they look positively awful. For the more close-up shot, which for a scene that will happen later, like say a ball. They look a bit better, but the transition between 2D and 3D is actually very janky for the character. When the CGI is actually used for the environment, like say the castle itself, for like a 360 shot, we see Tylo doing, flying around. That actually works for the better, actually. But when it comes to the actual people in movement, sorry, it's still way rough. Mind you, not as terrible, of course, as that wood golem thing that Celebi did in Forever. Obviously, that still takes the cake. But these, far shots of CGI people are still not great.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm overall fine with the CGI in this movie. Like, yes, it's dated, but it's dated in the sense, like, well, it's dated in a way that it still works with the movie.
I mean, look, it's not Battle of Gods CGI bad.
Anyway, though, like, my point is, like, well, the CGI I feel works in this movie because, well, if ever you wanted a high-scale medieval venture of Pokemon, this might be one of the closest things you get to it. And I do mean, it feels almost like Final Fantasy in this movie at times. Not just the prologue, but also around the prologue, climax, at least, too, given how stuff is solved and whatnot.
But yeah, what is the reason, Pedro, why Ash and the others are here in this Camelot wannabe place?
They're here for yet another random Pokemon tournament that they're doing. So basically, we start the theme song.
Wait, hold on.
The montage of
Pedro,
Ash fighting his opponents, as usual in these movies.
Because there was this very odd Pokemon back in the flashback who, seemed to be looking in on
wait.
Right.
Get fucked.
That's the thing. Hulk shows up in the background, but he doesn't have anything to do with this movie. He's just...
It is. We literally see him turn into Mew.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
I was trying to finish, like, why? Because it's actually Mew. Because remember, since Mew can use every Pokemon move, he can do Transform. Basically, Mew hasn't changed since the first movie. He's still a little fucker who loves to cause trouble for people.
I guess he's gotten more productive ever since he made nice with his clone. So now he just opts to steal toys from Camelot. Cameron Palace.
That's the thing, Java. We'll get to it, but the whole reason everything happens is because of Mew.
Is Mew the Great Protector, or is he the Great Destroyer, or both?
Yes.
He's a menace.
Deji's is most accurate.
Let's just say Mew is
also
special.
Before the fight,
he's a cat Pokemon. Shouldn't you love that?
I thought it was a tiny kangaroo.
No.
Also, if they are a cat, it kind of affirms that they are a little shit,
True.
So,
also,
sorry, Jova.
before the actual fight at the beginning with the montage, it's important for the fact that this festival is kind of like a carnival, meaning that people need to be dressed up, to be themed about it. Brock dresses up as a priest, absolutely hilarious. May has like a princess costume. Max, I forgot actually what he has, what he actually gets. Ash dresses up, basically manages to find a costume identical to the one of the hero
Sir
of old.
Aaron.
Because of course he does.
Because of course.
and he looks awesome in it. Like, funnily enough, the cover of the movie literally shows Ash and company in their medieval costumes, which actually had me thinking this was going to be a whole back to the past sort of venture, or like some
time travel.
No, we're gonna do time travel again. Don't worry, just wait another few.
However, also on the cover.
Wait. Let's see you go.
No. Joe first.
Also on the cover, there was Ash who is across from Sir Aaron, which seemed to imply that Sir Aaron would be part of the venture too, for one reason or another. Well, kinda, sorta, it's complicated.
Also, we get this shot of poor Pikachu being distressed because he probably tries to do whatever the fuck he wants. The others wants him to be dressed up as well, so they actually get him in a Chester outfit. Poor bastard.
This is after
he already has the clown cheeks.
Yeah. This is after Mew messes with Pikachu, by the way.
Yeah, transforming into a trick, I think. But yeah, initial fight to win.
So, but
Quite possibly, yeah. Okay, and I need to mention this. Both for the English dub and the original version, the song that they chose to put it there is just not fitting to me, because the entirety of the rest of the movie uses particularly the tone to reflect the setting for a more medieval style kind of thing.
You're referring to Unbeatable.
Yeah, but maybe it's a song of its own. Maybe it's even fine. I just believe it's placed there, and it feels out of place, but it's put there for the sake of paying homage to the fact that initial fight needs to have a pop song attached to it.
Honestly, I'll admit I was kind of reminded about how much I love this theme song actually, and we do get a pretty damn good montage as well.
Oh yeah, the theme song itself is great, and I personally don't mind it. But at the same being in this context, but at the same time, I understand. Speaking of music, while we're on that topic, I've always been a fan of Shinji Miyazaki's scores for these movies, and this is probably my favorite of his scores. Because I really love Lucario's theme in particular.
Yeah, there's a Pokemon duel.
Anyway, Ash wins, and the final opponent that he beats happens to be a woman in armor, and somehow she carries a crap ton of hair in that helmet. I don't know how.
Look, Pedro, you're a Dragon Ball fan. You should be used to this.
Well,
this
this is not Dragon Ball,
that has
though.
Team Rocket in various costumes.
Also, Pedro, you've seen Ash's usual hairdo, right? And he manages to fit all that inside of his hat.
No, I'm sorry. Like, that's often compared to what this woman does. But we'll talk about who this woman is, because we're gonna have a scene that's made specifically for explaining who she is anyway.
It's a woman who doesn't reject Brock's advances and even dances with him too.
Okay.
She mostly just kind of. The way she behaves, it's more like she sees it as just nothing but a kid crush, and she just kind of brushes it off and rolls with it.
The Sun and Moon anime just points out this whole time Brock could have just had a girl if he did this.
Does he finally permanently get a girl in that anime?
No, but just look at that. All he had to do was take off his shirt.
Where? Oh. You posted it there.
Yeah, main lobby.
Yes, and the main lobby and the channel we're not even recording this from. Although, funnily enough, he could have had Lucy. Like, Lucy was totally into him, but Max had to go and screw that up.
We're not doing this again.
Yeah.
I will never forgive the Max.
Yes, let's...
Refrain from shipping wars, please, and thank you.
Well, okay.
Regardless, though. But yeah, Ash wins the tournament, which means that he is now the official Guardian. Conveniently, also all dressed like Sir Aaron.
Yes, basically, this is actually part of a festival that's celebrating the end of that war we saw in the prologue. And this time, since Ash won the tournament, he gets to wear clothes that are a replica of Aaron's original outfit, as well as have the original staff that we know that Lucario is strapped in, because they actually managed to keep that staff over the
clothes were something he already picked out. It just happened to be that they were Sir Aaron's clothes. That's it.
You're right.
Am I the only one who thought at first that the queen in current times was actually the queen from the past, but immortal? Like, okay, now that I've seen their two designs side by side, they are actually slightly different. But up until the point where it's confirmed that she actually is a different queen, and even still, I honestly thought there was going to be a twist that she is actually Queen Rin from the past.
Look, we live in a world where there's multiple Nurse Joyce that look the same, okay?
Well, but they do explain it in the story, though. They actually have one point where the Nurse Joy says that, oh, I'm the sister of all like this. So they do explain the family tree. To be fair,
I refuse to believe
it's just
that
a
they're
joke.
not
Don't
all
think about it
clones.
too much. The point is,
Sure, Roy. Well, actually, to be fair, clones are a thing in this universe.
Yeah.
Shira. Well, Well, okay. Well, actually, okay. Let me just continue. I'll get back to you, Shiroi. The point is, yes. So Ash wins. So meaning he gets to all the staff basically. And yes, like Jova said, I'll get some new clothes, even some new clown clothes of sorts for Pikachu. And so basically, it's a costume party, all that stuff. And yes, like Theo said, Brock even gets to dance with that woman that Ash beat. So while this is going on and they're all celebrating, Ash keeps hearing this voice that we know is Lucario in the staff. But while this is also going on, after finishing her dance with Brock, the woman decides to just stay away from the party, and suddenly turns out she has some kind of agenda in here. So and then she has these super duper sci-fi glasses that allow her to communicate with a character who's basically the Alfred to her Batman. And basically, she's here to apparently do something, but we don't quite know yet. And yes, she even has Batman-like gadgets for some reason.
The only one who actually notices her is Meow, so that's because Team Rocket, has in the meantime, has managed to actually sneak in the castle of her own using the other disguises of her own. Meow gets to wear a set of armor for that.
In that regard, I actually wondered if she was going to be the antagonist of this movie, given how she does act for a bit.
That was my original guess as well.
Yeah, Teo too.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time that kind of thing has happened.
That being said, everybody, that's a good point that's a good point that Teo just brought up, by the way, everybody, because notice how I forgot to mention Team Rocket. Yeah, once again, Team Rocket don't really have nothing to do in this movie.
They kind of do have
either.
a big thing to do, but explaining what that is would be getting ahead of the movie.
I guess. But the basic point is, Meowth discovered, and it turns out she's actually after Mew, because guess what? Mew happens to be in here.
Everyone and their mother tends to be after Mew, given how Mew is like the holy.
Oh, I know, I get that. I get that. It's more so the fact that how did she even know Mew was here?
She had clues that had led to the location, without at least knowing the probability that Mew will be there. But the context of why Mew is actually there, regardless of if she knows it or not, is because in the meantime Ash and May had freed their respective Pokemons, in order to for them to actually stretch their legs and everything. But because Mew decides to be, the trickster that they are, they lead Ash and May Pokemon, like far away from the party, like up in an attic, just to have some fun on their own.
Actually, funnily enough, the attic is right above the party.
Yeah, there's like bells or something. Or sorry, a lamp, one of the lamps.
Yeah. In the meantime, Shiro, I might as well address what you said earlier. According to the Guinness World of Records, the biggest record for a set of twins is 16. A woman in Russia gave birth to 16.
Wait, 16 sets of twins. That
so,
implies 32
so
kids
maybe
total.
Shiroi.
On
Apparently,
different
yes.
occasions as
So
well.
basically, Shiroi, my guess. So basically.
But anyway.
Go on.
So my guess is, Shiroi, something akin to this happened. Like there was a big both Jenny and Joy are basically world record twins slash cousins. Like apparently each time these two women breed, the same result comes out of it. That don't. But so there you go. There you go, everybody. That's the. So technically, I guess it is possible. It's just incredibly unlikely. But anyway.
Yes, it is.
Very often it is. But anyway. This woman is of course trying to get Mew, and Mew is also fucking around and playing around with the Pokemon, including Meowth. And in the meantime, Max also shows up, and he finds them having some
after
fun.
She sends the two
Max notices that they're actually going up, but he cannot actually enter the door because of something that's happening at that moment for what the woman is about to do. Pedro.
Yeah. her Weavils go on, and she basically
Actually, no,
orders them to go
don't,
around
Pedro.
and catch
It's a
Mew,
bit
but they
forever
fail,
because
and
it's
she even
actually
has
a point that I did mention while we were watching the movie. Again, her goal is to actually put a tracker on Mew, like, an actual physical tracker, just slap it on. And she has to Weevil for it. So, logically, she will actually tell them, to put him blending with the others, and while they're not, she's just, put it there, right? Nope, the two just starts attacking randomly like that. And amongst the confusion also we freeze Vonchalax, which is in front of the door, which means that's why Max cannot enter the door.
I'm guessing the director wanted to keep the mystery of is she
that is
evil
true,
or
Pedro,
not?
but it's also kind of lampshaded in universe the fact that the Weevil did a stupid decisions because when they return, she literally tells them that she should go to obedience schools. To which both you, me, and Shiroi basically noticed, you are their trainer. You should actually teach them how to do things.
Look. In this, I can't.
Basically.
In this universe, may I remind you of James's victory bell?
What about
every time he summons it, then just kept eating him?
Look, James. That's only because his Pokemon really love him because James is that good a trainer.
Bullshit. Well, okay.
Victor Bell loves him.
Okay. It doesn't love him like how Ash's Chikorita loves him, if that's what you're wondering.
Yeah. No, that's what's the name of that Gen 7 poison Pokemon? That's like a sea urchin, because that one has a crush on James.
Oh, you mean the one that's waifu bait?
I'll show it later, but continue, Pedro.
Okay. So, like Teo said, she wants to set a tracker, but we don't know yet exactly for sure yet. While this is going on, the staff continues to say, why? Eventually, and Max is here too, basically, like I said. Max is basically seeing what's happening with the Pokemon and blah, blah, blah. But eventually the staff starts getting restless, and it breaks, and Lucario comes out of it. And he's all like, what?
And he mistakes
what the fuck? Where am
Ash
I?
for
So
Aaron.
this is Lucario will be
the outfit.
Probably because he has the same set of clothes, and the fact that as we're going to learn later, apparently he shares a similar aura. We'll talk about aura it is because there's actually a scene that explains it. But the point is, Lucario, obviously is going to be our fish of water character. So the first thing that immediately happens is that he's confused about what happens, and however, Queen Lean, aka the Descendant, is surprisingly very, very. There you go. There's another set of two people who are separated by centuries.
Okay,
and
I've actually seen their design side by side, and there are actually some slight variations. That said, you probably need to do it by looking at their two designs side by side. Because otherwise, I don't blame Lucario for thinking that it was her. And hell, I don't think it would be too out of the ordinary for there to be a superhuman who's somehow immortal in Pokemon. Seeing as how we literally did get that in Gen 6.
Yeah.
Like, it did throw me off for a moment, because I did think, it's like, wait, this can't be the same person. But it's like, it's just deliberate design choice. Like,
they even have the same voice actress too.
Even with Ash looking similar to Aaron, it's all deliberate. It's fine.
Which is sort of, I guess you could argue, it's to help Lucario get closure in the end, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
That too, yes. So basically, Lucario gets out of the castle and he tries to go into the place where both him and Aaron used to stay at. It's no longer the hub that it was once. Now it's apparently some kind of museum where they keep some stuff from the old days. The world that Lucario knew is now gone. So obviously he has kind of a little breakdown of sorts. Fortunately, Queen Lean shows up and introduces herself as the descendant of the queen that he knows, and even hugs him.
Assures him that this
and
place
everything.
is still his home.
So
that's actually nice.
Yes. Also, while this is going on, Mew decides that he wants to play.
Yeah,
decides to basically kidnap Meowth and Pikachu.
Folks, the main plot of this movie is Pikachu is missing. Ash needs to rescue him. Mew was kind of a dick. And, well, yeah. We gotta go to essentially this giant tree that's actually not a tree, but a set of rocks that are structured like a tree. But more on that later.
So yeah, Western Mew is now kind of a dick, not a full-blown dick like he is in the Japanese first movie, where he's
Evil.
where he's basically.
I guess we could argue that he got.
Yeah, basically. You clones are a you clones are a piece
I guess
of
we
shit.
can
I'm
argue
gonna destroy
that
you
he
because
went
you
to
guys are nothing but
therapy and got
fakes.
better after the events of that movie.
Well, that's the thing. The events, like as far as we can tell, like because I saw the Japanese version, like this movie doesn't
Well,
ever
to be
reference
fair,
his actions from the
weren't
first
the
movie.
protagonist's
So
memories of Mew technically wiped?
Yes.
well, but
No.
remember,
Well,
this took place
was it
after
ever stated that
Returns, though.
Mewtwo restored their memories of the first movie? Like, they just knew that Mewtwo was a thing, but was it ever stated blatantly that he restored their memories? Because I don't recall that being the case.
Nope.
Also, the movie is run on. Also, the movie
Oh, yeah,
and the
that,
series run on the logic
no,
that
I
there are
guess not.
multiple copies of some particular legendaries, including some that shows up later on in this very movie.
Oh, that'll come in handy for the Genesect movie, I hear.
Okay, so yeah, because this happens, Ash of course needs to go and save Pikachu, and the Queen asks Lucario to help. And since Lucario at this point has basically got nothing left, I guess might as well help. It would be an honor to serve you, and blah blah blah. In the meantime, Kid, yes, that's the name of this woman, decides, hey, I'm going to you too, Ash, even though I literally just met you. And okay, so basically, it turns out her name is Kid. How do we know this? Because Brock is a big fan of her, who, as Shiroi very jokingly said when we watched the movie,
Okay,
he's basically the one that created her
fun fact
wiki
here,
page.
I love the bit about
Um,
Mime Jr. constantly miming Brock's proclamation of love to Kid Summers. That got a laugh out of me.
Yes. So yeah, Kid turns out is actually kind of a maverick because she constantly goes on for getting records or for just, showing off great stuff. But turns out, from what we can tell, apparently all she really wants is to just showcase the tree of origins or
The Tree of Beginning, I think it was.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I was.
In order, and apparently
thinking of
the
the
other
I was
dialogue
thinking of the
that she has
Japanese name,
with
sorry.
her contact in the metropolitan area is also because both of them are in desperate need of money.
Oh yeah, that's right. She has her own guy in the chair.
Yes. So yeah, we have our party for this movie. So time to
And
get rolling.
Lucario-
Since Kid is the
Only three of
adult,
these
she will
party members
drive.
will actually do something.
Anyway. So Queen Eileen asks if Lucario can go help Ash, because if anyone would know about the Tree of Life, he would, seeing as how this Tree of Beginning essentially is what ended the war, although whereas most people hail Aaron as a hero, Lucario insists that Aaron just abandoned everyone. And to be fair, the Queen goes about promising him, okay, look, we'll look into this, essentially.
Not to mention that matches with what we saw in the prologue. That matches with the prologue. So as far as we are
and
aware
again,
right now,
I'll give
that
the
he
Queen
is correct.
credit. She doesn't deny it automatically. She says this is a grave accusation, but we will look into it. And if history really does reflect that, well, we'll just have to acknowledge it. Fair deal. So Lucario, using the power of Aura, will help lead them there. And when you get down to it, a lot of this epic quest is, well, a road trip. Yeah, okay, look. Now, if you're waiting to hear about the big cataclysmic world-ending phenomenon going on, nah, there's none of that here. It's actually a relatively small story.
No, that's because, and all the better for it, because one of the big problems I have with most of the Pokemon movies, most of them, not all, of course, is how they try way too hard to be epic and with their world-shattering disasters and stuff like that. to disguise the fact that their narrative might not be as strong as it thinks it is. But this movie drops any pretense and just focuses on telling a smaller, more focused, character-driven stories. But we'll get into it. So yeah, we start, and Lucario is the one who's basically going ahead
And
while
meanwhile,
the
Team
driving
Rocket
are,
are-
yeah, are
Jeep or
stuck
whatever
in
it is.
the back part.
This is what
and Team Rocket.
this is what I meant by Team Rocket
are
actually
stuck
having
in
something
the
to do
trunk.
because
Why not?
Meowth is also missing. So Team Rocket are going there to go save him. Although, as we see later, Pikachu and especially Meowth are kind of enjoying it with Mew.
Yeah, we'll get to it. So yeah, the race is on, and while this is going on, Mew is basically trying to play with Pikachu, and he even has a little. We're gonna see this later, but he also has even a little music box that happens.
They actually
to
do
sing
mention
the
earlier that
Jigglypuff
Mew
song.
tends to visit the
Interesting.
palace here. So, okay, funnily enough, with how the movie was going, especially in that bit where Mew pretty much trolls the maid during the opening segment of the movie, I thought, oh, Mew's once again this mysterious figure that nobody's ever seen. And it turns out, nope, they're all fully aware Mew's a being who tends to hang around and play tricks and even takes toys every now and then. Makes me wonder if they made the child-filled toy attic just for Mew at this point.
And those toys are never to be seen.
I guess the idea is that unlike with the first movie, this is actually his home, the Tree of Beginning. Therefore, this is the place where he's at for the most part. So it's more likely for people to have seen him more in here. So you can make that argument about that. So yeah, the journey's on. Eventually, they do while running towards driving towards the Tree of Beginning. Eventually, they find a hot spring. So and there's basically these geysers or whatever they are that are basically preventing pass. That force them to. So basically, they have to wait until the geysers are done. With their activity. So, happens to be a convenient hot spring.
Now, I know what
for
some of you
everybody
may
to
be
to
thinking.
chillax in
Wait, this
there.
doesn't make sense for them
So-
to just stop their journey and relax. Well, consider this. Eileen pretty much assures them that nothing bad's really going to happen to Pikachu and Meowth. Mew's friendly, especially to other Pokemon, and he's taken a liking to Pikachu. I actually wonder if he recognizes Pikachu from the first movie, and that's why he
most likely does,
especially...
because there's this weird detail that it's hard to miss, but the remake does it shows. The Mewtwo recognizes Jessie because it met at her mom. I mean, Mew. It's a very complicated story, and I'll get to it when we do the Mewtwo Evolution Strikes Back.
Also, when
Sorry, go on, Shiro.
when Mew shows his actual form, Meowth just kind of goes, "It's you." Like, there's no other reason he would say that. Like,
True.
Well, yeah. No. The movie does acknowledge that because
Speaking
that
of
they do remember some
remembering,
stuff,
like one thing
So there's that.
to lead in small into the hot spring is that before that there was a point where the group stopped for food, where they meet a wild Bonsley, which tries to steal I think Brock's ration exactly.
No.
But
It's the one he wanted to give to Kid, which...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Lucario actually stops him
Yeah,
and actually
yeah,
offers
true.
a berry in order to showcase, a bit of sympathy at the very least, while still solving the solution. And the boss essentially tags along. I say this because of the hot spring scene. They explicitly mention maybe it's not best for Bonsley to actually step in the water because it's a rock type. Didn't stop Combusken. The fire type.
Well, you see, Combusken's okay with water because...
Wait,
Fighting.
okay, so this needs to be said. It's not like water can act. It's not like water attacks that can damage them, because it's like, no, they can take baths and whatnot.
Then why mentioning that line?
I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah,
rock
that's my
types are
problem.
naturally afraid of water.
No, this
Okay,
is for fire
okay,
types, but
actually,
for
okay.
rock types, I remember that they've made it consistent. It's like, yeah, they don't like going on water.
Well, yeah. Well, that makes sense. See, here's the thing. Yes, fire Pokemon breathe fire, but water doesn't technically harm their bodies because their bodies are just bodies, whereas
Yeah,
rock
and
type Pokemon
water
are actually
does wear
made
away
of
rock.
So obviously water would actually
So
be
that
dangerous
one
to
does
them,
make sense.
unlike with fire
But
Pokemon.
that's not the only reason they're here. Well, okay, it is the main
Yes.
reason they're here, but they find something while they're there.
Yeah.
And an on-looking flower up.
Yes. It's actually it's interesting because it reminds me a lot of the witch
This is
flowers,
what I mean
the
about
white
this-
witch flowers from the Inokuni one.
This is part of what I
Because
mean about this movie feeling like a high-scales RPG
it serves
epic.
it literally serves. Yeah. No, it serves. Trust me, Dej. When you get it for that, it serves the exact same. It's literally the exact same MacGuffin. It's basically the same thing. But anyway, yes. Basically, Ash decides. Well, basically, May notices the flower, and Ash decides to climb the rocks and pick it up because, well, why not? And we have one of the best lines in the movie where kids are like, "Oh, Ash is very agile," and Brock's like, "Yeah, like
Call
a
back
human
to the
napalm."
fourth movie.
Yeah,
So,
where they made
fun.
the. We also get a small flashback that Lucario has because he actually. Sorry, go on.
Well, yeah, that's
it wasn't
that's the
that,
idea.
sorry.
But first, he has to pick the flower. Basically, when Ash picks, first what happens to him is that Ash picks up the flower, and when it happens, he has the flashback of him dropping the flower first. So
Well,
yeah,
no, actually, it
so
was about instead to mention the flashback that Lucario has, so the fact that he has
Well,
been in the.
to be fair, that has to do
Yeah.
with the MacGuffin.
I thought it happened before that. Whatever, go on.
Yeah, and I was about to get. Well, it's technically before, but I was about to get to that too. So, but yeah, like Teo was saying, yes, before this even happens, technically Lucario is looking at them just chilastic, and he has a flashback to back when he was training under Aaron, and Aaron was very apparently friends with him at the time, and he even told him, "Look, you need to relax here. Come on, put your
Pedro,
feet on the
Pedro.
hot spring. See how relaxed."
Did you notice that they didn't show Aaron's feet in that scene?
Yes.
What of it?
Hey.
They were smart. They knew.
That's
Okay.
They showed other people's feet in this movie. What does that even
don't-
matter?
I'm missing something.
Internet
What
feet.
is
don't
this
worry
about?
it. I'll tell you when you're
Deads.
older.
I think
Dad's-
you're telling on yourself there. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah,
No.
you really are dead. Dead's other people's feet were seen in this movie. Like, I don't think this isn't as clever as you
Exactly,
think
they
it
were.
is.
Like, I don't
Dead.
even.
If Terrence was here, he'd like it.
Anyway,
Moving on.
Anyway, apparently, even though Lucario is kind of a little bit of a, a stick in the mud, to a certain extent, Aaron tries to get him to relax and open up and everything. So that's nice. I also really like the Lucario scene that plays during these flashbacks, which is some really good use of the flute. So yeah. In the meantime, when they take out the flower, Kid explains what it is. It's a time flower. What is a time flower, everybody? Basically, again, like I said, just like in Inokuni, it basically serves. It's a MacGuffin that serves exactly for the purpose of showing you flashbacks that are necessary for the story. That's basically what it does. So yeah, they replant the time flower and then they move on. Okay. And by the way, one thing that I forgot to mention from before the journey started, there's a point where Lucario is, in a big room, and Ash tries to talk to him, and Lucario reacts badly, and he kind of tackles Ash and everything. So, and that's when Lucario learns that Ash is looking for Pikachu. Who is this Pikachu? Are you Pikachu's master? Master? No, he's my friend. And he's all like, so what, I mean, won't you say?
And I
Lucario's
don't want
I don't
any
have any friends. And then he just leaves.
Maybe he should have had the shadow voice.
Well,
He
for
should've done his
for
Super
Lucario,
Saiyan
I will
4
argue
voice.
Chanel does a great job anyway. So
Dads. That's what Smash Brothers is for.
anyway, now that we got that caught up again, let's go back to it. So we continue the trip now that the geysers are now suddenly not working anymore. So we carry on. In the meantime, Mew and Pikachu are still fucking around, whatever. Once again, we have to stop again because it's nighttime, so we need to, camp out and shit like that. This is also a point where Lucario once again has another flashback of when he was training. Basically, this is another thing, everybody. This movie takes a lot of cues from Star Wars: A New Hope, the first ever Star Wars movie. Yeah, because Aaron is basically telling Lucario to literally let go of his conscious self and act on instant because he puts a blindfold on him and he has to dodge all the logs. So yeah, it's literally the Obi-Wan.
I hate you so much right now.
Luke Skywalker thing.
No. Don't you see, Dad? It's not the Force,
Because I
it's
didn't
aura.
put 2 and 2 together.
Wait. You didn't know about that one?
No, because I was just like, it was like, is this a reference to something? It's like, oh, it's Star Wars.
Like, Dad, he literally says the aura is within him, like the Force. I'm surprised.
Yes, that's a good lead-in. Might as well get that out of the way because that actually is around this point where they explain. Kid also explains while they're driving what exactly is aura. Aura is literally the Force from Star Wars. They literally say it's an energy that lives in every living being. And Lucario is particularly strong with it. So yeah, it's literally the Force from Star Wars. And the reason Lucario mistook Ash for Aaron is because apparently Ash's aura is very similar
Remember
to Aaron's.
that for later.
So it's not just it wasn't just the clothes. It actually has to also do with his aura specifically. Much like in Star Wars, they can feel people's presence based on their
I don't
force.
know.
Same thing.
I don't
here with
know
the
if it
aura.
was just a
Again,
dub thing, but
literally
yes,
the
they
same
do
thing.
go out of their way to pretty much point out how silly it would have been if he had mistaken Ash for Sarah Aaron just because Ash happened to have the similar look, right down to the hairdo looking the similar under the hat with his costume on. Like, no, they do explain that there is that extra reasoning.
Sure. Yeah, minor detail while we're on the topic of aura. In the Japanese version, as implied by the Japanese title, it's not called aura, it's called wave. And this is one of those cases where I will actually say that I prefer the Western name for it because wave just sounds generic and not at all descriptive
What I
of
don't
what it
understand
actually
is why
is.
the Japanese
So I
version
actually do
isn't
prefer-
called, chi, which is the usual term that is given to this kind of, property or power.
Maybe they didn't want people to think they were ripping off Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Well, in Dragon Ball, it's ki, not chi. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, really? Okay, then. Regardless. It's the thing, too. Maybe that's the idea. They didn't want to call it ki because, But yeah, that's basically what aura is. So yeah, this movie draws a lot from A New Hope, as you can see. So yeah, moving on. After that flashback, we have a moment. We have a moment where Ash is once again talking about how he wants to Pikachu, but since Lucario is still full of full of brooding, you humans are all alike. Basically, he still hasn't gotten
Is
over
this the
the
scene
betrayal
where
of
he and
Mr.
Ash start to
of Sir
throw
Aaron.
hands?
Yeah.
Yes, basically, Ashley doesn't take too kindly that Lucario literally randomly insulted
It's
him
not just that,
out of nowhere.
Which
is
also
fair. And
the idea that Pikachu and Ash are friends rather than a relationship of Master and Pokemon. That's what
That's
sets him off.
He's projecting is what's happening.
Yeah.
That said, gotta give Ash credit. He actually takes on a fighting type Pokemon and actually does not immediately get his butt kicked. In fact, if anything, he's actually doing pretty good against
We've seen him
flipping
tackle far
Lucario.
worse.
I told you he would throw down.
Honestly, I have to wonder: is Ash just part Pokemon at this point?
Yes, I'll take the thing.
No, he's part aura. He's part aura user.
Remember, Jova. Well, Jova, remember, Jova, he's a trained is a trained Pokemon. Like he was knowledgeable to show restraint because while he doesn't like him yet, he doesn't want to necessarily hurt him. So of course he kept his true strength hidden because he didn't want to actually hurt him because he has a very strong restraint on his abilities. Well, for the purpose of the story, that's the theory I'm going with. So yeah, basically Ash is all like, well, he started it, which is technically true, yes. And May tries to break them up and everything, but they eventually break up, and Lucario decides to just go away and just brood on his own. In the meantime, Max shows up and gives him chocolate chips because I guess Max is Chip from Sonic Unleashed now. Sure. But yeah, the point is, yes, they share some chocolate, and which fortunately calms Lucario down.
Oh,
So
wait,
that's
hold
it.
on.
Moving on.
Haven't we been
so in the
getting
next
these
day-
other MacGuffins along the way up to this point? The Time Flowers?
There's only another one that needs to be said, and that's for the next scene, Jova.
Yeah, I'm literally about to get to that next one, Jova. Because in the next day, they're still driving, and they get to the exact specific point where Aaron supposedly betrayed everybody and sealed Lucario in the staff. And conveniently, there's a time flower right in that very spot that will allow us to see more of what happened. So there you go. Lucario touches the time flower, and it shows a little flashback of what was happening, the war, and of course Sir Aaron trapping him in it, and everybody sees it. So yeah, turns out apparently it's true. Sir Aaron did desert the queen, and he's not really a hero after all. Lucario, of course, goes away sad because,
There's also
well,
a
as he
small
puts
bit
it,
of
he was my
confusion
master
because
and he
the flower
betrayed
also
me.
showcased the following kind of stampede of one of the army walking, and everyone believes it's here, especially Lucario,
Yes.
but it's Ash that has to tell him to snap out of it.
That actually is a good point to point out, because remember that he, unlike the other characters, he actually lived through this war. So of course, you can argue some trauma just suddenly came up as a result of this, and that's why May has to tell him, "No, Lucario, it's not real," and he snaps out of it. But yeah, Lucario once again goes away to brood, while Brock and Kid reflect on the fact that, wow, so the whole Aaron being a hero thing was bullshit, right? In the meantime, Ash, now regretting what happened, he decides to come up to Lucario and apologize for what he said yesterday. And seeing how sincere he's being, Lucario turns to Ash and goes, "Ash, promise me one thing. Promise me that you will never abandon Pikachu," which Ash does indeed promise. So yeah, now that things are patched up.
The characters are having actually a
Theo,
very
why don't
nice
you talk
moment.
about,
It would be a shame if someone immensely, big and sounding like a fucking dubstep, computer about
Alright,
to
here we go,
die
I guess.
would show
It's
up.
time-
Okay. To be fair, to be fair,
for Shiro
you're
is-
probably thinking, Squirm, Deji, BlueZoneComms. Shouldn't there be a legendary aside from you, given how these movies often try to, advertise a legendary? And Lucario technically is not a legendary, despite what this movie might have you think. Whoa! We're about to get them, and hey, Tio, you know how you've always wanted Pokemon to not just say their names and have very unique
Well, they
grunts?
technically still do, Jova. It's the way they say it that it's different. But that's also a good point. So, this was the time where they were trying to shield as much as they could Generation 4. After all, Lucario is the star of this movie.
What?
Sure, Mew
Oh, yeah,
is...
that's right.
Mew is the legendary front and center, but of course, you would think they would put the Lake Trio, because they were part of the trio of Gen 4 that's attached to it, and they have some similarities to Mew when you get down to it, so it would make sense. But no, we have the Reggie Trio instead from Generation 3.
Wait, who do you think should have been in this?
The Lake Trio.
But that wouldn't make any sense.
Why?
Because we're in. Because of where we are.
Because I don't think they were finalized yet at that point.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure Generation 4 had been released already at this point.
Lucario and the Mystery of Mew in Japan came out in 2005. Generation 4 didn't come out in Japan until 2006.
And Dad does have a point. It wouldn't be the first time that a Pokemon movie has been made to sort of preview a generation. Look no further than Pokemon Heroes for that.
So yeah, I'm sorry,
I
Tio.
mean,
we're
look,
stuck with these things.
I think you're
wait,
the one
wait,
who's sorry,
wait.
Shiro.
Wait. I thought you liked these Pokemon, Tio.
Well, I am. Sorry, go on.
Nah, well,
Yeah.
I love them. They're hilarious.
Yeah,
But Shiro is
again,
not too
going
keen.
to what
Shiro is
John
not
was
keen
saying,
on them. Shiro,
for
you wanna
some
explain?
reason, but it's not even super consistent because I did check and apparently the Reggie Trio shows up in a later movie and they do not have the gimme that I'm about to mention. They, in order to convey their otherworldly golem-esque status, the Registry in this movie speaks in very heavily distorted, almost auto-tuned kind of voices. They still say their name, but it's the way they're saying. It's like you're watching a fucking YouTube poop.
They look out of place and they sound terrible. Why are they here?
Wait,
and they don't leave.
Wait. I like how they sounded. I thought that they actually sounded pretty cool, haunting, and awesome with their dubstep sound. And also how some others do say their name. So Tio, how did you like having your Reggie trio show up in this movie?
Okay, like I said, I do believe they're a bit of a place, but for what they do in this movie, they're pretty much hilarious and almost the highlight for me. Don't get me wrong, I do understand the rest of the story, and its meaning and everything, but for hilarity factor, these guys, it's not like they're a joke. If anything, they're a genuine threat, and if anything, this symbolizes the fact that she just gets real, because the characters are actually close to the tree. But Regirock shows up.
Team Rocket?
Sorry?
Remember Team Rocket?
I don't know.
Yes, they're still in the trunk, Dead.
But yeah, Regirock shows up and starts blowing shit up left and right. The team don't really have hopes against him, and they have to run the fuck away.
Yeah, and yet he doesn't.
Kind of merciless, but yeah.
He doesn't immediately try to kill them. Surprisingly.
Although
that's for later.
I think he spams mostly Hyper Beam towards them. Classic, I guess.
So I'm curious, which of the Reggies was your favorite,
Yes.
Shiroi?
Someone say something.
Reggie Gigas?
She doesn't even know about Reggie.
Shiro is not a fan
Jova.
of them. Well,
Yeah.
well, Shiro.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get this topic right away right now.
I
Okay, Shiro.
already did.
Why don't you
Again, they
explain
look
what's
out
your
of
problem with the
place,
Reggies?
incredibly out of place. They sound awful, and again, they won't leave.
Okay,
They
Silence
keep
for
showing up.
Well, it's because they're kind of fan favorites, I guess.
They're part of the Guardians again of the tree, along with you. But
Also, they
I
ran out
prefer
of
the
legendaries
tree's
that they could
weird,
use.
goopy red blood cells or white
well,
blood cells,
those
whichever
are
the
for
fucking
later.
ones they
But go on,
use.
Pedro. I mean,
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. But yeah, like Shiro just implied, yes, we're almost at the tree of beginnings. When we arrive, like Shiro said, some red little blobby things start showing up, and yeah, they start getting
well,
consuming
actually,
some
hold
of
on,
these
Pedro,
humans that
because
just
there's a
came
bit of
here
a
and
build-up
are
to that.
recruiting.
While the characters are just traversing, Kid actually uses a utility on her belt to actually free some mini drones in order to actually study the environment. This includes some of them actually trying to snoop away in different parts. One of them gets that's destroyed by Reggie Steel, just stomping on it, but another tries to actually perforate a rock using a mini drill. But the rock turns red and actually, engrobes it, kind of like a gel substance, as Shiri said. Again, this is kind of a build-up. In the meantime, after just a bit, the contact that Kid is having, the old Grams at the metropolitan area, tells her that the inside of the tree, it's kind of like similar to a blood system, and that the tree itself is more like a giant organ. Again, the characters did mention before that the tree is not an actual tree, as Drew also noticed, but more of a rock/coralline formation that just happens to resemble a tree, but has some mysticality to it. But eventually that's what actually shows up. These blood cells that some of them actually do come in the shape of different Pokemon, like Alma Stars, but others are just basically the X-Parasites from Metroid Fusion. So there's that. The first victim, if I recall correctly, is actually Jesse. Either Jesse or James,
Yep.
because Team
No,
Rocket has
it's
actually
Jesse.
split up in the meantime. Poor James tries to lose Cacnea, but that doesn't really go well.
So, yeah, the tree is trying to murder everyone, and it does a pretty efficient job. It even gets Lucario. Until it turns out that Lucario is fine.
But yes, basically, apparently the tree
So the
does
tree
not
is
consider
racist.
the Pokemon intruders or threats, meaning this
Against humans.
this tree is racist.
This is why we can't have good things, nature.
Well, I
So-
mean, the humans are like walking in there with their dirty shoes. The Pokemon don't have shoes. Like, I gotta go,
No,
I
no,
guess. I
no.
don't know.
No, don't you see? Sure, instead they're walking with their bare feet. That's
wait,
totally
what about the
more
Poke-
sanitary.
Because apparently bare feet don't get dirty. I mean,
But,
by that logic, I mean,
But yeah, the thing is that one other important thing is the fact is the movie tries to milk it a bit. This kind of thing is that before each of the humans actually gets consumed, like Brock, James himself, or like even Kid or May, they get to release actually the Pokemons that they have because in a desperate attempt of save yourselves and everything. And we also get these kind of somber moments where the Pokemons actually grieve over their poor master's disappearance.
Okay, to give them credit, they pull off these moments well, and it's not overly
No, I
sappy
just
like
wanted to
Pokemon
notice
Forever.
them.
That being said, that does make me wonder.
no,
That does-
not to mention that there's a purpose. Not to mention
Yeah.
those
It
moments
does
are
make me
important
wonder,
for
though.
something
If
that
the
happens later
Pokeball
anyway,
is
so
consumed
on.
with a human, does that mean that the tree effectively kills the Pokemon too?
I don't. That's one of the things that is not unfortunately explained much. Unlike say in the Deoxys movie or even in the Jirachi Wishmaker, movie, we don't get to see where the human go. They just disappear like that.
They're in the tree's digestive tracts.
So dead.
Yeah,
Sure.
they dead.
Yes, basically, well, the idea is that they're these red things are basically like white cells fighting the infection of the body. That's basically it. Because later on, Kid actually does indeed talk to Alfred. I'll call him Alfred because that's basically what he is. Kid talks to Alfred, who in his computer discovers that basically the tree works basically like a human body and it protects itself against infections. So right, as far as we can tell, they've been absorbed by the tree or some shit. So yeah, in the meantime, Ash is of course trying his best to get Pikachu, and he even said, "Lucario, come on, what are you going? Don't worry, Ash, I will not leave you."
Exact
until we find
wording
Pikachu."
there.
And there you go. That's nice. All right. So now, Ash and Lucario are bros now. But yeah. So that happens. In the meantime, Pikachu is of course looking for Ash as well, and Mew's all like, "Hey, where are you going?"
As I
I'm
noticed
still
to
not done
Pedro,
trolling."
both him and she had a good comeback on that. Since the mode of transportation that Mew had for Pikachu and Meow was transforming into a Pidgeot and just transforming them, it would have been so convenient if we actually did transform again in a flying Pokemon, because there's a point where Pikachu and Ash are separated by like a ravine or something, and if one had the ability to fly over, would that? But I guess but for the little shit is a bit too much, isn't it?
I mean, to be fair, he did save them at the last goddamn.
Yes.
Well, actually, no. That was Kid who saved them at that point.
In the meantime, this is also where we also have a noticeable, specifically the purpose of Brock, Kid, and May in the story, where as they keep climbing the tree, the red blobby things start getting more aggressive, and eventually they take all of them. We even have a tearful scene where May lets her Pokemon go as she cries and tells them to abandon everything. Even Kid, despite her agility, is eventually consumed, and she lets both her Wavies and saves them and everything. And eventually, Ash
Oh my
himself
god!
is also
And we actually
consumed by
get
the
a
red blobby
touching
things.
love confession.
Well, it's platonic love.
Wait.
That's not
What did you think I meant by that? Look.
Well,
I'll just say it's cute that Ash does admit
whatever.
that he loves
I just
Pikachu
wanted to make
because
it
yes,
clear.
they're the best of friends. That is literally all I meant by it.
Sure.
We are.
Yeah, he already confessed his love to a Greninja. Didn't you see that?
Sure,
episode?
sure. I'm not the.
We're not going down the
I'm
Pokemon Heroes
I'm
route
not being
again. Damn
sarcastic.
it.
I'm sure. Anyway, yes. So Ash so Ash is the final human that bites the bullet, I guess, and we see a scene that's basically a much better iteration of that.
Probably
stupid
because
ending
the
scene of the
Pokemon
first
tears
movie where
don't
the
heal
character- where the
everything.
Pokemon are actually. No, instead it's actually a much more clever solution. What happens is Mew looks at this and he sees how much these Pokemon
Actually,
care
if I
deeply
may,
about their
assuming
human
that this is
trainer.
the same Mew
And
from
he decide-
Mewtwo Strikes Back, do you think maybe this struck a little close to home with me when he thought, whenever I get involved, a human tends to die and Pokemon cry. I should probably do something about that.
By the way, this is also the point where the Regis just fuck off. We didn't mention for the sake
Well,
of
okay.
Hold on.
To be fair, it's gonna be explained
Well,
why the
it's
Regis
after-
go off by
No,
what
I
Mew does.
was about to. Again, we didn't mention for the sake of brevity, but essentially we did stalk also all the heroes all the way through with Lucario repelling them left and right, But these things there are no more humans
Yes.
around consuming everything. They decide to just, leave them be. But they do not show up for the rest of the movie.
Well, technically, well, they're still around watching what's happening right now. But yeah, Mew touches one of the rocks from the tree and basically tells
Because
the tree
he
it's
and
okay.
the
they're
tree
okay,
are
let them
kind
go."
of one and the same for some reason.
So Tia, what you're telling me, the Regis were basically attack.
This is-
Doesn't elaborate. Leaves.
Basically.
This is the first demonstration of this movie's theme, redemption. Basically, by putting the interests of their own Pokemon above their own, the humans have proved themselves to be good people, and therefore both Mew and the tree decide, okay,
And
you guys
thus
are cool.
the Regis
you don't get to
decide,
die. There you go.
Understandable. Have a good day.
Yeah, that's when the Regis are all like, well,
Well,
I guess our work
we
is done
came-
here. Okay, do you guys want to go play? Do you guys want to go play some?
We came, we saw, we sounded
Yeah, sure,
awesome,
let's go.
and left.
Okay.
You did none of those things except leave.
Salty much, Shiroi.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen her legit salty.
Ready ice. I forgot what was Reggie's
DC, I need you to do a
Till-
Photoshop.
Don't worry, Deji will insert that in post. Moving on.
I'm scared.
Yeah, so yeah, now that the tree and Mew have stopped being dicks, it's time to and yeah, Ash and Pikachu are reunited. So I guess we're done. However, something happens after doing all that effort of trying to consume people and trying to protect itself from infections. The tree's body starts to collapse. Apparently, the tree, and yes, we have an explanation by Alfred. Alfred explains that the tree has apparently been using its immunitary system way too much, way more than it usually does, and as a result, it became sick. And since Mew is
Basically,
connected
the
to
tree kind of
he
did
gets
itself
sick
dirty
too.
by being its
So-
racist self against humans.
Yeah.
The equivalent of an heart
This is what you
attack,
get for
as
being
the
racist.
butler says.
to the tree.
Heart attack caused by racism. Why does that
Yes.
feel awfully karmic?
I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Anyway, well, isn't it more like
Look,
speciest?
he still is
rather
very
than racist.
discriminatory, and that's bad.
Yeah, I
It's
think
referred to as
adjects
the
are
human
worse.
race, so
Sure.
True.
Okay, so yeah, now they need to do something
Yeah.
to save Mew, and Mew points them to somewhere they can go. So they go to the next room, and
Of course.
it's a room full of crystals or something. And Lucario notices Sir Aaron's gloves are in the center of the room. So he goes there and he checks. Turns out Sir Aaron is.
I wonder if that's just their
encasing
fancy way of
crystal all
saying
this
that that's
time.
his corpse
For
and
what
he's
purpose?
dead.
Yeah. For what purpose? Well, fortunately,
Yeah.
there happens to also be a convenient time flower right next to this. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? The time flowers are literally a plot device specifically to show visually.
You know
show
what?
stuff.
It's not every day you
literally
see
the
a
one
movie
purpose
that comes up with a somewhat flimsy excuse to show instead of tell. But damn it, I'll take it because they're showing instead of telling.
Hey, the movie's good. I don't mind at all.
No. It's because no. It's because the writers know. Okay, we need to actually show these flashbacks to the viewer, but how do we do it? So one of them came up with the idea. Let's introduce this magical MacGuffin called the time
if
flower.
that sort of
There you go. That
inspired
works.
Toby for Undertale.
Sure.
Maybe. Anyway, yes. So yeah, the time flower activates, which reveals what actually happened. 500.
I think it
how
was
long
200.
how long ago was the
no,
thing
no,
again?
more
How many
than
years?
that. Sorry.
Centuries.
Whatever. Centuries ago. It's now so we now learn the truth about centuries ago. Turns out Aaron came here because he wanted to meet Mew, and when he meets Mew, he says, "Look, I'll give you my aura so you can use it to stop the war." So yeah, it turns out the reason the war was going on is because apparently this happened before. And look, Aaron gave his own aura, basically sacrificing his own life specifically so that Mew could heal the tree and therefore stop the war. And as a result, Aaron died. So yeah, Aaron sacrificed himself for the sake of the kingdom, which does confirm indeed that he was indeed a hero. And but that begs the question: why would he entrap Lucario then? Well, we're about to get to that. So yeah, unfortunately, Aaron is no longer around. So who could possibly give Mew an injection of aura to save the tree? Well, look, fortunately we happen to have an aura hero in here. So yeah, Lucario will do it.
And this is the point
Apparently,
where
however,
Kid
his
actually
aura is not
reveals her
enough.
true colors and becomes the last minute villain, right?
No.
No, actually.
No.
Because unlike Atlantis, this movie understands we're not to pull that kind of cliche.
I had a feeling you were gonna mention Atlantis.
As someone who actually likes that movie, I still hate that plot, not plot twist,
no.
but the way the ending. So I wanted to make a point.
No, forgot. No, definitely. Forgot this scene. All she does really is just watch, but she'll have a reaction to what's happening anyway. Yeah. Lucario's aura is apparently not enough. So Ash has an idea. You said that my aura is similar to Aaron's, so why don't I try? And he picks up Aaron's gloves and tries because,
let's give Gash
might
yet
as well,
another
right?
superpower on the count.
So
This one feels more earned.
to be fair, this is something that all living beings have. So you can just basically.
And
It's a Star
also,
Wars thing.
Lucario,
He happens to be strong with the Force,
Lucario
basically.
The reason why he confused him for Sir Aaron wasn't because he was dressed like him. It was because he sensed his auras very similar.
You know, I can't help but notice the
we already talked
Reggies
about
were
that.
all about protecting the tree and its Pokemon, but the minute the tree starts to collapse from its own stupidity and the Pokemon are now
They're
all in
nowhere to be
danger,
seen.
the Reggies are nowhere to be found. Like, your problem.
Hey, our contract was we were supposed to protect the tree from intruders. It never said anything about protecting
I
it
guess
from its own
technically,
diseases.
and for those who wanted something of a life-threatening venture, well, it turns out that the tree being destroyed can apparently also affect the kingdom in the distance too. So, yeah, gotta save the day. Again, not to as big a scale as, say, something like Pokemon 2000, but, enough to make it so that, drastic measures may need to be taken. And drastic they do be.
Yes, so Ash and Lucario tried their best to use their aura to give Mew the energy he needs to heal the tree. While they're doing this, Lucario, the big aura orb that they're creating gets big enough, and when Lucario notices this, he takes a look at Ash and he decides to bump him, tackle. There you go. Now it's Ash's turn to get tackled. So Lucario tackles Ash and to help him to basically keep him from being sacrificed along with him, because if as demonstrated by what happened to Aaron, when Lucario does this, he will die. So yeah, I'll take it from here, Ash, and see. Of course he does, and thanks to Lucario, the tree is healed and everything goes back to normal. in the meantime, to go on with what Theo said earlier, the kid is all like, kid is talking to Alfred, and she's all like, "Look, Alfred, I don't want anybody. I don't want this place flooded with tourists. So let's keep this a secret, okay? But we can make a lot of nah. We're keeping it a secret."
Yeah,
And she
I'll give
turns
him
off
credit. Kid came
the
quite
sci-fi
away because,
glasses
again,
thing.
I feel like it was intentional that the movie first portrays her as, well, quite villainous and suspicious. Well, okay,
Suspicious.
maybe not immediately villainous, but definitely suspicious, especially with how she handles the Mew and Weavile thing. But
It's kind of like, without spoiling the game for the Edge, Jove, it's kind of like what they do with Harry
Yeah.
in Miracle
Yeah.
There are
Mask.
similarities to
That's
that.
basically it.
yes,
Like they make you think he's this guy's totally the villain. Look at
goatee.
the angles he's being portrayed in, and then nope, turns out. So it's literally trope
Yes.
subversion done well, for the record. It's literally trope subversion basically. But anyway. Yes. So after this, everything's okay. Everything's PGP except for one fact: Lucario now is about to die. Fortunately, there happens to also be yet another time flower there.
Okay,
Man,
now
how
I'm
many
beginning
time
to
flowers
wonder-
are spread all over the
honestly,
place?
I'm wondering if Sir Aaron was planting these time flowers along the way as part of this weird centuries-long scheme that Lucario would eventually properly find out the truth here and there. Never mind the fact that he's the one who gave Mew the aura in the first place that tied Mew to the tree, so maybe this was all part of his plan.
Maybe. But for now, yes. Lucario finally sees what actually happened. After putting his own gloves in there and sitting down so he can, die in peace, Sir Aaron has a monologue where he specifically says, "Forgive me, Lucario. I had to steal inside the staff because I knew that if I didn't, you would follow me here and you would suffer the same
And
fate." So yeah, he
incidentally,
did it to
Dad,
protect Lucario.
both Aaron and Lucario died the Jedi way, literally fading.
Again, it's abundantly clear that.
Well, yeah,
people who
Japan
know
loves
the
Star Wars
first
fans.
Star Wars
But,
reference in the series.
Japan loves Star Wars to the point where almost half of their JRPG stories take from Star Wars quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just look at Kingdom Hearts.
Well, more so Square / Final Fantasy, but yeah. Yes, so yeah, and of course Aaron's all like, I have no regrets. I served the beautiful queen, and hopefully one day you will be released in a more distant and peaceful future. And of course Lucario's like, I understand, Master, I understand. If only I could tell you.
Dude
if only you could
literally
hear me, I
breaks
want to tell
down
you how much you
crying
mean
at
to
that
me.
moment.
And yeah, not just that, like, but I'll get to it. Yeah, and of course, as he's about to finally vanish, Aaron's all like, farewell, Lucario. You were more to me than just my student. You were my friend. And Lucario's like, I feel the same. And of course, he goes like, I wonder, maybe we will meet each other.
Oh,
again.
what
Who knows?
timing!
And then he just disappears. And of course, Lucario's like, and Lucario's all like, Aaron, my friend, I'm sorry I failed you. And this is the point why I have to really seriously compliment Sean Chamel's performance as Lucario in particular, because Sean Chamel completely sells this scene in particular. So yeah, good job there. And yes, of course, he thinks he failed, but of course, Ash, no, that's not true. You proved yourself. You're a true hero, just like Aaron. And of course, unfortunately, yeah, Aaron, Lucario just went through the exact same process, meaning he's about to die as well. Ash is, of course, distraught by this, but Lucario's, I have to go, Ash. Aaron is waiting for me. And there you go, Lucario. And we have the first instance of, second instance of a character, like a main character, dying on screen in one of these movies.
Latios.
I know we had Lucario, sorry, I know we had Latios in Pokemon Heroes, but nobody gives a shit about that. This is the so, because this death is actually meaningful and earned, unlike the one in
And
Pokemon
we don't
Heroes.
talk about the death in Pokemon
so yeah.
forever.
Yeah, so
Well,
yeah,
there's
continuing.
not much left because the movie is kind of over
yes.
with this.
Well, yeah, the movie has made its point. It doesn't feel the need to go on any further. So yeah, they leave, they reunite, And of course, they feel a bit sad that Lucario is gone. But of course, just for one more Star Wars reference, Ash is all like, no, Lucario isn't gone. His aura is with me.
I'm just going to say this right now.
The Force will be
they
with you.
They totally gave Ash and Lucario because of this movie.
Yeah. Here, that's the thing. People really wanted him to get one for years. And, like, when we got to Diamond and Pearl, we thought, oh, that Riolu that he rescued, will he catch it? No. When we got to X and Y and they showed off, like, oh, look, Mega Evolution, Lucario, and Karina's following, will he get one? No.
He gets beaten by one.
Here's a Holucha. So, like, when Journeys came out, it's like, hey, look, Ash gets an egg. It's a Riolu, but will he catch it, or is it Go, his best buddy Go, going to? No. Here you go. Here's his Riolu. About time, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I wonder if this one contains Lucario's spirit.
And
by the way, this Lucario was so popular that they pretty much had him show up in the Smash games. I'm not kidding. He has the quotes, same voice actor, and everything.
Yes. Even the aura mechanic is straight up lifted from here.
To be fair, every Pokemon that's in Smash Brothers is based off the anime counterpart.
But yeah, that's not all, though.
Yeah,
we do get
basically.
some scenes happening during the credits here. One of which is actually a very touching scene, seeing Lucario and Sir Aaron finally back together again in the afterlife. And it turns out Sir Aaron has now developed a liking for modern-day chocolate, which confuses Lucario.
That's the basic gist of it, really. That it's like Theo said, it's a simple
Pedro,
story.
A Pokemon movie story that happens to be much smaller in potential world-threatening scale compared to its predecessors, but turns out to be spectacular for it. Now, where have we seen this before? That said,
like
I'm going to say
movie.
it. This movie does it even better.
Again. That's why I'm. Oh yeah, definitely. This is why I always turn a frown eye whenever I see them go for the big epic world destruction climax type of thing, because these movies are at their best when they're focusing on the characters' arcs.
Okay,
rather
like,
than
I'll
trying
give them
too hard to be
credit
epic.
that I can see how they can make it work. Though that has ironically also been a running theme with all three of these past movies. Like in Jirachi Wishmaker, it's mainly confined to this canyon. In Destiny Deoxys, mainly confined to this one city, essentially. Despite it being freaking Rayquaza who's involved. But hey, who's counting? And here, this is, I guess, also another movie where Rayquaza ain't really doing his job that much. Although,
What does he have to gain with this?
Well, see my thing.
Fair point. The weather's not involved in this one.
No, see, my argument is that like the entire climax of the 7th movie with all the green blocks and shit like that, it feels a lot like it's not quite. It's like my favorite William Shakespeare quote is "Brevity is the soul of wit," and I feel like the climax in that movie went on for a bit longer than it needed to, because it felt like the movie kind of was just relying on visual spectacle for quite a bit of it. Whereas this movie, instead of doing that, just entirely, like Theo said, right after Lucario dies, the movie immediately closes itself with no need for anything else. The movie made its point. I'll make my point. I will leave for the.
It is kind of a shame that they didn't get to keep the costumes.
Okay, not the costumes, but you get to keep Saren's gloves.
How
the little
cute.
shit.
Also, Mew gets to be friends with Bonsai,
and that was
keeping it company.
All right, Bosley, it was useful in this movie.
So, Tio, since Mew is tied to the tree, does this mean that Mew technically killed Lucario?
I don't know. Pedro?
Well, remember, if Mew hadn't started...
I guess the tree would be still, an asshole towards human, though, so I guess we did make some progress.
And hey, thanks to this, Lucario can be back with Sir Aaron together.
Well... I guess you can make an argument that now that Mew saw for himself how valorous humans can be, maybe.
I think they
he'll
pretty
be
much
to chill
imply
out
that that's
next
how the
time this
tree is
happens,
going to
maybe.
be from now on,
Yeah,
which is part of
that's what I
why
got as well.
Alfred suggested that, open it up to tourism, but it's still like, nah.
Speaking of that, Kid is probably still broken because in order they will keep the secrecy of the place. So.
wait. Oh, wait. Oh, I nearly forgot. Kid also runs into some familiar faces. Diane and Butler from the 6 movie, who are now farmers.
Does?
Yes, during the credits.
Oh, okay.
She actually runs into them. They're farmers now. Go ahead and check back, actually.
You also told me that the
Great
sequence at the
continuity.
beginning, since it's actually narrated, is from 2 characters who are semi-recurring through the movies.
Yeah. The mom and daughter that will cameo in several films. So like in the background, you see them in the background when Ash and Co are walking.
Huh. But yeah, that's the movie.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and that was the movie.
Now it's time
All right,
for
Dej,
the
what's
Mewtwo
next?
Award, where this is a segment where we talk about who the best character is. So, because Pedro is Pedro's favorite movie, I'll let him go first. You go ahead and say Lucario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on, we were all thinking that, let's
Lucario.
be honest.
This is Lucario's story through and through. That's not really like. Again, remember he for this entire movie he thinks he failed. Not only failed his queen, failed his kingdom, and now at the end he gets to redeem himself by literally sacrificing himself to save the world. And of course he gets, like Jova said, he gets reunited with Aaron in the afterlife. So basically his story is one of friendship, his friendship with Aaron, and of course his own personal redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll go next.
That's it.
Okay.
Go on.
Ash.
God damn it.
Oh.
Like, no, Ash is top notch in this movie. And hey, he continues the tradition. He body checks somebody in this movie.
And he has powers that they'll allude to occasionally, but won't do much regarding it because
Well, don't you see, Dad? The aura is specific to the crystals in the Tree of Life. So, sorry, the Tree of Beginning, which we won't interact with as much.
No, it's not. If Lucario can basically do all that dodging while blinded, he can if he trains.
Maybe, but Ash doesn't have a teacher to teach him now that Lucario's dead. Unless Lucario could somehow reach out from within the aura and train Ash mentally.
Or it's like he meets Riley, which he does.
That won't be until later.
Yeah.
But still, though, no. I mean, Ash is legit great
it's
in
Ash.
this movie. Good Pokemon battles. He is smart. He's athletic. Can put up a good fight too, and he's a good thinker. I think
But mostly because he helps Lucario. He's a very important component of Lucario's redemption because the whole fight between the two of them is entirely tied to Lucario's arc. Because the Lucario treats Ash the way he does because he doesn't trust humans anymore because he was betrayed by the one he did trust in. So of course his relationship with Ash is entirely integral to him getting over his angstiness. Or
I will say this though, Ash, maybe you could have waited before running to your best friend Pikachu, running across the crystal stalagmites there. I mean, he catches Pikachu, yes, and then they're about to die. Thankfully, Kid comes in and swoops him up.
Swallow, catch Pikachu. Hey, get.
You realize Pikachu is basically just Princess
I mean, I
Peach
guess
in
to
this
be
movie,
fair, this is like if,
He gets
Bowser
kidnapped and
actually
gets
treated
saved.
Princess Peach well when he kidnapped her. Because,
Well, he did. To be fair, he
Yeah,
was
in an
dead
in an acid
sunshine,
pool.
So,
in a volcano.
well, to be fair, she was
Yeah,
not.
she
Well, she
couldn't
was
go
not
in
in the
there. It's
acid
like, hey,
pool.
wanna
To be
jump
fair,
in,
she was in
Mama
a safe
Peach?
spot.
No.
Look, yeah, it's not like the force story.
Kidnapping. I'll go. I'll say Kid Summers.
All right, next person maybe.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm attracted to women. Who go figure?
What a shock.
Yeah, I know, right?
Want a cookie?
Yeah. Can I have one?
No.
Oh. Sorry, she's actually a cool character, and I'm glad they didn't try to pull. Oh my gosh, she's actually the villain in this one. It's like this movie doesn't have a villain. It was just a matter of
unless you count
unfortunate misunderstandings.
No.
I guess unless you count the tree.
Yeah, it's not
She's
really.
kind of a dick.
I'm gonna chalk up and say that Mew is still a villain. Just because he's not self-aware of that doesn't mean that he doesn't commit villainous actions.
I'd
So would
say
you
the
say that
villain
this
was
movie-
maybe trauma? I don't know if you can call what Lucario is experiencing
The
trauma.
villain is not telling the truth.
So,
Well, remember, Shiro, I brought that up earlier. Lucario, remember, we saw that scene where he sees the flashback for the time flower of the war, and he starts throwing his aura balls.
so Tio, if you
around
consider
so,
Mew
yeah,
the
he does
villain,
have
would you
trauma, it's
consider
just
this finally
naturally.
his redemption and he'll finally clean up his act? Because, yeah, holy cow, he nearly died at this point. He kind of needs some time for self-reflection.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah. Next.
Shioi?
I mean, you guys already picked all the good ones.
You can pick Sir Aaron.
Pick Reggie Ice.
Nah. I'll pick Meowth, I guess. Like, he actually does something. Not much, but something. He's at least trying a little bit, so...
Yeah, that leaves you, Tio.
Okay, I mostly drew...
The Ragged Trio, right?
I was gonna say, I was mostly doing this just because, the others I picked someone else. Otherwise, I would have genuinely picked something else. Like, I might be joking and everything, but I don't want to take away the merit that the movie has. But yes, since again, everyone is picking everyone else, the Reggie Trio, because of reason that I said before, they're entertaining enough for me.
Yeah, I actually liked them in
And
this.
besides, and like you said, they're still a credible threat. Sure, again, there's a bit of justified reason why they just fuck off, like three quarters into the movie, but fair enough, I guess.
Hey, how messed
Take
up?
it back,
Hey,
this movie does have villains.
so
You.
I think. So I
Sorry,
think
go
I
ahead.
can already guess what's going to be Shiroi's pick for the Tracy Sketchum
where
Awards.
does that leads into that?
Tia, did you finish that Photoshop I request?
What did I do?
No. Whatever, go ahead.
Now it's time for the Tracy or Misty, if you prefer, awards. This is our least favorite character in the movie. So go ahead, Shiroi. Go ahead.
Well, I wonder who I hate in this movie.
Honestly, I just have to wonder how Reggie Gigas would have sounded like if he was in this movie.
I don't want to
We know-
see a Gigas
We know
version of this
we know what he
shit.
does show up because he does show up in the Hoopa movie, and yes, they bring back this gimmick for it. So we can look forward to that.
It's like,
Awesome! I like it.
Again, like you said, the actual movie with Reggie Gigas in it and the other Reggies, the Giratina movie, while it has them, they do not have this gimmick. Their sound is actually pretty non-existent, to be honest.
Aww.
But there is that. Go on, Shioi.
all right. Again, I've mentioned a couple of times what my general reasoning is, but Pedro also added another one that I can bring up here. They don't help. They just leave. Like, they're supposed to protect this tree, aren't they?
Hey, again. Hey, our contract says we're supposed to protect.
See, this
our
is why
tree.
they suck. They
Never said
can't
anything
even
about
do their
helping
jobs
people, and
correctly.
We're here to do
It was your job.
This is
We
not
help
our
people
job.
who can
though.
help
We just, like,
themselves.
Oh.
Alright. So
But yeah.
my turn. The Weavile, because it's their faults.
True,
Yeah,
if the Weeball
partially.
hadn't screwed stuff up, Mew may not have kidnapped Pikachu and Mew. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, Dad, do you mind if I go next, though?
Sure.
Okay.
What I'm about to keep in mind that what I'm about to say is only relative because the movie sets the bar up this much.
Of
But
course.
I'll be honest, I have to go yet again with Ash for this one. Mind you,
This is why
it's
he's
not.
number.
It's not on the same level as in the previous movie. Ash is much more tolerable, and a much more reasonable figure in this rather than in the previous movie. But it feels genuinely like a self-insert more than anything. This is Lucario's story through and through. Ash kinda sticks in between, mostly also with the parallels with said Erin, and potentially can be a bit distracting, not to mention I wasn't really that super a fan of the scene where the two ended up wrestling, mostly because, again, Ash lets the blood boil to his head way too quickly.
I mean,
Again, it's
to
again
be
supposed to be 10-year-old and everything.
No. I'm not gonna say he's supposed to be 10. When you put it like this, he's been nice to Lucario throughout the whole time, trying to be friendly with him, and then Lucario has just been shit talking him, and then struck a nerve.
Yeah,
So it was
I mean,
instigated.
yeah, honestly, give Ash credit. He really was trying to be kind with Lucario up until that point in the movie.
Remember when when Lucario was in the room and he goes up to him, Lucario just what's the word? Decks him.
Mostly, well, okay, to be fair, there's Lucario himself said he was, one, acting instinctively, and two, because he didn't recognize who he was.
Let me put it
That
like
was
this.
just an excuse. He was just angry.
Let me put it like this. I do get being patient with somebody, but like everything, there does come a limit to it at some point. And given what was going on at the time, Lucario was quite out of line. Oh, sure, Ash shouldn't have let it get to him, but I can't blame him given how he really was trying to make it work with Lucario.
And I'm gonna have to also rephrase what Ash said because it is correct. Lucario started it. We were all just enjoying ourselves, and
And
suddenly
he also
Lucario
said
starts, shit
maybe
talking,
Pikachu abandoned you.
So
So it's like, yeah.
My other
Given
point,
all,
yeah,
my,
that
my other
that's
point still
that's what
stands.
triggered
For
Ash.
the
So
overall
they're
grand scheme
both
of
in
things,
the wrong.
Ash feels too much of a self-insert, especially considering the fact that his other companions pretty much do nothing, almost nothing in this movie compared to what he does. If it was a thing that each teammate has something to help Lucario with in some substantial manner as much as Ash, it would be kind of understandable and everything. But no, it's pretty much clear that the writing team wants to push full and frontal center Ash for the figure. And again, like you said, for the purpose of having this being Lucario's story, when you get down to it, it gets a bit too distracting for me.
Don't worry, Tio. May will become the main character of the next movie.
But like you said, it's still far better than in the previous movie, and actually is technically not a bad character in himself for the purpose of the movie. It's just the fact that, again, the movie raises the bar this much, and gotta be honest, there aren't any other really pick that I could have chosen for this. So, next.
You could
I
Team
actually
Rocket.
could think of someone.
Go on, Joe.
Bonsley. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate.
Alone.
I mean, look. I don't hate Bonsley. Also get over it, Edge. It's not that I hate Bonsley. In fact, it's like Tio said. It really is a case where it's not really like we're picking the worst character. We're just picking the characters who worked the least.
Just like in the third
sense.
movie.
So in this case, Bonsley, only because he didn't really contribute that much to the plot. He looked cute and sounded cute, but didn't really do much except help reestablish that rock Pokemon don't really like the water. It wasn't bad, just didn't do much. Alright then,
Next.
Pedro.
worst character, right?
It's hard, isn't it? There's not really a bad character in this movie.
I guess. I guess. I mean, you guys already pick all the possible ones, so
Munchlax?
I guess I'll go. Okay, actually, no. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Team Rocket, because while it is true that they did have their moment where where they throw their Pokemon out, aside from that moment, they were just once again just there, and they didn't really do anything meaningful. They were interesting aside from that one moment. So they're just this is what. So I guess it's just one of those cases where Team Rocket is once again kind of done dirty.
They have a better reason to be in this plot compared to most movies, because like
definitely
Meowth was missing.
Oh, they do.
Like, they have.
They do. That's just the thing, that yes, that is true. But unlike with Ash, where we do indeed reflect on Ash's relationship with Pikachu thanks to the Lucario storyline, that the banter between them, there's no equivalent for Team Rocket. They're trying to save Meowth, but you wouldn't even notice because the movie doesn't really focus that much on.
Kind of gets shaded when the two teams actually meet, and rather than say, "Wait, what is Team Rocket doing there?" They're more like shrugging against each other.
It's one of those cases where even the movie itself
I'd
doesn't
say
seem to
it
care
cared
much
more
about
them this time because Meowth is a factor all the same in that regard.
And to be fair, Jesse went crawling to Ash and said, things are bad when I'm coming to you for help. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, I already said it.
All right,
I already said the Weavile.
Next.
Right, so which leads us where to?
Our favorite scenes.
Yeah, favorite scene. You want to go first, Shova?
Sure. Let's see. Favorite scene. There's a lot of great scenes to pick from, honestly. We shouldn't have any problem with that. I could say every scene with the Reggie trio, and I'm sure Shiroi would just be dying to agree.
Oh, she's dying, alright.
What did I do? We're all dying anyway, move on.
Okay, maybe this really is gonna be Shiroi's supervillain origin. The Reggies made me do it, damn it. But
who is a villain but the hero of their own story anyway?
Precisely. I guess for my favorite scene, I'm gonna go with the ending scene where Ash and Lucario together are doing the aura move. Like, it really is great to see Ash having come this far, and Lucario not willing to see his new friend die as well, knock him out of the way, and how it all culminates, and how Lucario gets to go off and be with his old friend, sad as it is, but it still is very fulfilling. And it really does feel like a lot was accomplished, despite, again, this overall starting off as a rather mundane journey when you think about it. But they do still make it feel like an epic in the end. Well done.
Alright,
okay.
Let's go next.
Actually, I'll go because I want to pick something equally as potentially important, but something that that I think it's mostly fine for me, but it leaves a space for the others to pick. The opening, not the recap obviously, but the opening mostly for the biggest reason of all, lore. More than anything, but it's nice to see that despite trying to go out of the comfort zone, these writers actually picked something that still relatively makes sense for the context of Pokemon, something that until that point had not really been done beforehand, taking a risk. And while it's not super perfect, because they only showcase like the passage of technology for mankind, but without the help of Pokemon, that kind of felt a bit weird, The entire opening is actually good just for the lore and also to set the tone, again, giving the mystery, not as much of a Mew, but, the one about Lucario. Why Sir Sererin is acting like that, what is going to happen to Lucario, what's going to happen to the world, and blah, blah, blah. Again, it's a good, scene setter, and unlike in the previous movies, especially like in Forever, not in Forever, but in Heroes, it's not there to be just the best scene of the movie, but, the movie in itself gains advantage out of this. So that's pretty cool.
All right then, Shiroi, you next.
Can I also pick the opening just because I like how it's presented and like just the overall style of it compared to everything else in the movie?
Shiroi,
it's quite fitting.
Are you saying that you actually like something with a medieval bit in it? Holy cow, this movie really is a miracle worker.
Wait,
That's something like, from what Pedro and Tio have told me, Shiro is not really a fan of medieval settings.
No, not particularly.
So the fact that a medieval setting is legit her favorite scene.
I mean, it would have. I'd say second favorite. My favorite would have been the ending also, but I didn't have any different reasons for liking it compared to you, so that's why I didn't pick it also.
All right.
Pedro?
Next.
Well, Joe already picked the best one, so I'll go with the second best. Specifically, the entire sequence where everybody supposedly finds out that Aaron's legend was all bullshit. Which, of course, once again, seeing this before him, Lucario.
Which time when they find out it's BS? Because technically, there's one when Lucario claims it to the queen and whatnot that it was fake, and then there's the time where they actually see the flashback with the time flower. Oh, that time, okay.
The time flower. Yes, because Lucario once again feels depressed because not only did he live through this, now he gets to see it again in full 3D because that's probably not that.
But imagine that surround sound for that memory.
Yes, and we have some really good character development here with Ash, of course, taking the initiative and apologizing for the whole fight. And they patch up and all that, so it's a really good character.
That's true.
The Pokemon battle at the opening, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because oh my god, I love that song so much.
Oh, me too. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, don't get me wrong. I really love Master Quest, but I forgot how awesome Unbeatable was.
Yeah, it's really good.
And how about that twist that the knight was actually a woman? Who usually has giant pigtails.
I also like Ash decking Lucario because it's like he had enough at that point.
Yeah, and again, seeing Ash tussle with a Pokemon. Again, just like with Pokemon Heroes, Ash is built differently.
Also, I guess Deji just likes a woman who can kick his ass.
What? Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, yes. I'm sure. I hate to tell you, but my real name is Spike Spiegel.
What?
You don't sound like Steve Blum.
Anyway.
That's because you see, Jova. That's because I'm doing a different voice because everyone has to recognize my voice over the years. No, I'm actually the Netflix version of Spike Spiegel.
Oh!
I'm joking.
We'll probably have to cover that at some point.
Yes, we will one day, not today. Yeah. Overall, this movie was great. And now it's time for worst scene.
Again, this is gonna be a tough one because finding a bad scene in this movie...
I can easily go for the first one because it's connected to what I said before. Every single time there's a faraway shot with CGI people in it. There. Easy as that. Done. Next.
Alright then, Shiroi, why don't you go next?
The Reggie's existing.
There we go! I must be a psychic.
I'm gonna change her name. I'm gonna change her Discord name right now.
Wait, what?
Oh, you're gonna drive her insane.
Leave my Discord name out of it.
Oh,
okay.
I'm trying to think of something different, but
no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. I will say no. Listen. Okay, I will say, Jason does do a good enough job of this. him having a high-pitched voice than apparently the Japanese actor. I don't mind that so much because I feel like looking at his face, I think like it's like, yeah, I can hear that voice from that face. It's more so like with some of the flashback scenes, his acting isn't exactly perfect, and sometimes it can take me out of it a little bit.
It's because Sean Shamel is so brilliant in this movie that it kind of like it's one of those cases where like you have Sean Shamel right there next to you, being so much better.
He definitely didn't do a bad
noticeable.
job, but yeah, it's like sometimes it was a little difficult to get into those scenes. But yeah, there we go.
Least favorite scene for me. I guess that would be like not because it's a bad scene, but I guess the scene with the Weaviles, if only because it feels like a classic case of misunderstanding leads to the plot.
Yeah.
Who's left? Edge?
I'm gonna say like most of the Team
Who's
Rocket
next?
scenes when they're in the
The trunk.
Yeah.
Most of her jokes are, again, the usual, we're hungry! Like, how many movies in a row has it been where their only major joke is when they're hungry?
Yeah, it's because they're broke.
Like, you think that being professional thieves and everything will like eventually steal something, and Meow does manage to do something at the feast. But I guess Jesse and James are too busy, dancing around. To be fair, Jesse manages to find someone who she found handsome, so there is that.
Oh, she stole May's dance.
Yeah.
Alright, who's left?
That's it. I think so.
So, final thoughts in
Wait,
scales?
wait, hold on. Did you say your least favorite scene, Dad? What about Pedro?
Wait, what about me?
Oh,
Sorry,
wow,
go
I
on.
forgot.
You forgot about yourself in Portugal.
It's okay. I'm Portuguese.
Whoa!
It's okay, I'm
Here at
Portuguese, I'm used to it.
BlueZoneComms, we do not discriminate anyone from where they're from, unless you're Terrence, because he's not human.
No. It is not. It has nothing to do with discrimination. There, it's a common meme that Portugal always gets forgotten about. Basically,
Yeah. Okay.
it's a common joke. Don't worry. It has nothing to do with discrimination. It can't be discrimination if it's well. Actually, never mind. Anyway, least favorite scene. Joe already picked the one possible pick I could have, so I don't really know what else I could pick. I guess. I honestly
Duck
don't
Out?
I have no idea what to pick, to be honest. It's just, I guess, okay, if I'm going to, I guess, stretch, like even though they're hilarious, the Reggies technically are a bit, do kind of create a bit of mood whiplash here and there, just a bit. I mean, I personally don't mind it because it's hilarious and it doesn't really harm the movie. Oh, I love them too, but like if I have to pick something, this is the only thing I can. This is literally the best thing I can come up with right now.
That is one difficulty with movies as good as this one. Like when we have to pick our least favorite stuff here and there. Like again, it's kind of just more like a contest of which was the least good as opposed to what was actually bad.
So yeah, I guess I'll go with that. Next.
You haven't said your least favorite scene.
I did. I said anything about Team
Yeah,
Rocket.
he did. Which leaves to scaling and final thoughts.
He did.
Yep. So it's time for the final thoughts. Tio, go first.
The usual. Again, these movies pretty much. Okay, I wouldn't say perfect, because there's still a one or two kinks that could have been easily ironed out. One or two moments of video contrivance and everything. But honestly, I don't really have any major complaints, aside from anything that I said. And like I said, that's not even anything that could count as a major criticism on my part. Mostly something that I just noticed on that. Remember again, what score I did give to the third movie? I think it was an 8 at least. Well, whatever. This one gets a 9. Next.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna go in order. So I'm gonna give members. I'm gonna give this a 10. This is my favorite Pokemon movie, up there with the third one, which I probably should have given a 10. There's just something about this that works so well, and it helps that there's no real antagonist. It's just people
living the moment.
And having different points of views in life, and then realizing when they are wrong. Well, that's the vibe I get anyway. Yeah, it's
character-driven storytelling.
It's better paced than most Pokemon movies, I feel.
That's because it doesn't overstay its welcome. like we've said, the Lucario dies and the movie ends. Like I said, the movie makes its point. Okay, I'm done. Bye.
But yeah, and something Pedro and I talked earlier, like a week ago. This is the first Pokemon movie where the death actually matters, and it's for a character we actually care about, unlike Latios, whose death was.
I like how you had to add the fact that it's about a character that we actually care about, because then somebody would have been ringing up Latios.
To be fair, I pulled that.
It's it's the exact opposite. Remember, like when we were watching the Pokemon Heroes, it's this big dramatic moment where Latios is sacrificing himself, and the mood in the room is just a collective sigh.
I'm sure the laughter was from me.
Again, the sad thing is that now Latios isn't around to stop his sister from dating humans.
Oh no. Anyway.
That's the real tragedy.
Yep.
Alright, so I gave it a 10. Jovo, you're next.
Alright.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, I gave Pokemon the third movie a 9.
Yes.
This movie is even better. Like, it ramps up stuff amazingly. It has stakes and tension, but works to its great strengths. It has a great opening act. Love the costumes that the cast get to wear. Sort of a shame they didn't get to wear those costumes the entire time, but I guess it wouldn't have made sense if they wore them all the time, because it wasn't actually a time-traveling venture like some of us thought it might be back in the day when I was a child.
Oh no, this because of YouTube being new. People uploaded this movie on it for the Japanese version, and I was just like, what the hell is this? What the hell is a Lucario? Is this a freaky looking thing?
Dej, were you one of the kids back in the day who thought that Lucario was going to be the new legendary?
Yeah, I thought it was a legendary, and then I thought it looks like, what the heck's a Riolu?
And then it turned out that, no, Lucario's a common Pokemon.
and then you also have Manaphy, and it's, what's that thing? Fion. I was like, what?
How ironic is it that it feels like Lucario is the opposite of the Unknown, whereas the Unknown were a legendary Pokemon that they tried to make happen, but they didn't really happen for several reasons. Lucario's a normal Pokemon that, honestly, might have actually been interesting to have as a legendary. I mean, it's alright that he wasn't in the end, but still, it's kind of surprising. All the same, though, this is a movie with fantastic music, great fight choreography, very great animation. I don't even mind the CGI, because I feel like the CGI is at least used well enough in this movie. And I enjoyed it from top to bottom. It gets a 10 out of 10 for me.
Alright, a 10. And, Pedro, you're next.
A 10 as well. Again, the movie does exactly what these movies should do. don't try to bring up, don't fall for the trap that the second movie fell into, when it just was constantly boasting about how one person can make a difference, and look at how epic this, and look at how we're seeing all these legendaries fighting each other, and all I can feel is complete numbness because it doesn't mean anything. Proving, of course, that a lot of, sometimes, in fact, most of the time, less is more. This movie doesn't try at all to wow you with its epicness. Instead, it focuses on just telling a good story with good characters, and focuses entirely on just, properly showing it, properly having the characters react accordingly, and providing context to make sure every scene makes sense. And that's all it needed to do. And it's all capped out with a really moving ending that pretty much just ends exactly. And again, some really good knowledge of how to take cues from something else, specifically Star Wars. And
all right,
yeah,
That's the Shiroi.
Also a 10.
Yo!
No, listen, I hate the Reggies with every fiber of my being, but they can't ruin this movie, honestly. Like, it was presented and paced really well. It was genuinely emotional, like, throughout most of it, even despite, what I said about Jason's acting earlier. The music is also really good. Like, it's a very pretty movie. Like, a lot of these movies just got really pretty. But no, this was a...
That's the interesting thing you bring up, Shiroi. For as much as the CGI is questionable, like for all the reasons they already mentioned,
like when
the
I say this, I'm referring
handmade
to
stuff
like a
is
lot of the
gorgeous.
backgrounds and such.
That's the interesting
And again,
thing.
the intro is really, really good. It was funny, heartwarming, and yeah, like it's a great character story. It's I enjoyed every second of this, so yeah. Also a 10.
Okay,
all right.
So Shiro, I just want to make sure you didn't do a 10, so you wouldn't ruin the streak, right?
No, I didn't. I had to think about. I did think about this for a couple of minutes, but no.
Okay. So with that, we have a perfect score. Let's go.
That's a 40.
Yep. We won.
That's
What's
also
this?
probably because things are not gonna get on this level
And
at all.
we went up by 15 points, which puts this as number 1 for our favorite Pokemon movie.
I'm not surprised, honestly. Like, the writing was on the wall. Granted,
This is where the movie.
I will
This is
be
where
fair.
these movies peak.
From what I've heard, there are some other good Pokemon movies out there. But I will admit, aside from the Pokemon movie involving Kyogre and
Kyogre.
Thank you.
Kyogre and Detective Pikachu and some of
Again,
Pokemon I
heard-
Choose You, this is going to be kind of uncharted waters for me.
Oh, okay, sorry.
What are you
So
going to
that's
say?
true. No. I was like I mentioned previously, the only movie that I know something about, that I heard that is at least a fun ride, is the Hoopa movie. Mostly because again, it seems to be riding on the whole old school mentality of kaiju movies that I did mention in the Deoxys movies. But again, I'll let to see for myself if it's true or not. But Dej, where do we go next?
Wait, hold on. We have to like because I put it on Google Sheets and whatnot. Let's rank up our Pokemon movies. First place, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Ooh. Second place, Pokemon Spell of the Unknown at 34. Tie for third is between Destiny Deoxys and Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth is Mewtwo Returns with 24 points. Fifth is The Power of... Oh, wait, actually, tied for fourth is the first one, and Jirachi Wishmaker.
Wait. So the first Pokemon movie was tied for 4th?
Yeah, with Jirachi Wishmaker.
So that means Destiny Deoxys is in 3rd place. Nice.
Oops.
Excellent.
After that, in fifth, we have... look at...
Go on, say it, Dids.
The Power of One at 23 points.
I mean, it's not the worst position on the list.
Yeah, at 6th place we have Celebian Voice of the Forest at 18.
I mean, it's not our fault that movie sucked. So.
Yeah.
And yet that one is still not the lowest of
at
them.
6th place at 13 points is Pokemon Heroes.
Oh god, that one was even worse.
And a dead last is with a whopping 4 points.
Pokemon Heroes sucks.
The Legend of Thunder.
So, I'll admit, part of me does wonder if Heroes really does deserve to be ranked lower than Pokemon Forever, but, the two have their different merits, I guess. I guess to be fair, Pokemon Forever does still have the Sam Oak plot, which makes it way more worth anything that Heroes gave us.
Alright, so...
So, Dez, is there something on that ranking that hurts you?
No. It's more like I probably should have numbered these, and you guys have the power to edit it. So, if you want to,
Well, go ahead and post the sheet here.
it's on the pins message.
Dean.
I'm not.
Oh no, just a
I
number
don't really
because
change
my
anything.
keys
I
aren't
still stand by
working.
what I said.
But
Sure.
yeah.
Oh, that. Okay. All right.
Shirai, you know what to do. I prepared for you the
okay.
outro. Here you go.
Wait, what? A change of voice cast? Professor Oak's involved? Misty's back? What the hell are Mirage Pokemon? In a way to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the franchise, the Pokemon Company International commissioned a special movie, and it goes about as well as you'd expect. It's going to be a long podcast, so see you next time for Pokemon, Mastermind of Mirage Pokemon. As the journey continues. That is a mouthful of a title.
Yeah.
See you then.
Okay, Dez. Aside from the fact that the devil herself is returning, what could be so bad about this one?
Oh, you guys have no idea.
Yeah, I literally haven't heard of this movie before that you brought it up.
Let's just say, you know how 4Kids
Me neither,
commissioned
me
a
neither.
Yu-Gi-Oh movie?
And it was fun, yeah.
Imagine that, but that the American branch of Pokemon commissioned one, and they replaced the voice cast. Oh, you know what? See you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.
So, Dez, be honest, are you expecting this
Yeah.
to get ranked even worse than Legend of Thunder?